Okay? So I want to start off, we always try and start off with a poll of some kind, and this one is something that I'm curious about with all of our customers, prospects, and folks that we run into. Let me get that started here. Hold on one second. Go ahead and launch. So you should see the poll here in a second. But the question is, how comfortable are you with moving to the cloud? And if you could go ahead and mark that, give it a vote, let me know what you think there, and then we will go ahead and move on with the presentation. This doesn't have a lot to do with our presentation today. It's just something that as we work with our clients, we're finding certainly a whole different mindset today than we were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, when people were still trying to figure out what the heck the cloud really meant. Some folks are very comfortable, obviously, and some are still not quite so sure. So I'm going to leave it up here just for another second. Looks like pretty much mostly, it's either mostly or very comfortable, so that's good. And obviously that's good for us because that's a lot of what we do. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and close that out and get started. Thank you very much for those of you who answered. Okay, keeping Dynamics CRM data and process safe from decay. We're going to go through, obviously, this is more of a conversation, a discussion with PowerPoints. There's not a lot that I can demo for you, unfortunately, on this, so we're going to try and keep it short and not PowerPoint you to death. But I do want to make sure that we're bringing up the salient points around keeping your data and keeping CRM relevant. You always hear about those implementations that go bad, and of course we are working very, very hard to make sure it's not just the implementation, it's what happens after you go live, right? It's all about trying to keep your users engaged and keep them moving forward. First, what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about us, a little bit about XRM Cubed and who we are. I think most everybody knows who we are, so I won't spend a lot of time on this. But first and foremost, we are not just another Dynamics CRM pretty face. We focused exclusively on Microsoft products and specifically Microsoft Dynamics CRM. And pretty much everything that touches it as well. So whether it's Office 365, whether it's an integration from an ERP system or another business line application that you've got, but bringing that data into CRM is very, very crucial. Getting that data in CRM in a relevant manner is the key. So we pretty much handle all of that. The marketing automation suite, the different productivity solutions, and obviously our own support services. We have one specifically we'll be talking about today called CRM Admin Assist that's really helps drive that after go live piece. We're also going to talk a little bit today about some changes that Microsoft is putting into place right now around licensing and giving you and us some options to move that forward. But we are a Microsoft partner, and we are focused on the service support and education, Microsoft Dynamics CRM, and the entire cloud solution package. Those are all critical pieces for us, and I know they're critical pieces for you as well. So we're going to start from the basics. We're going to start from the very beginning and talk about we've kind of boiled our philosophy down. What is CRM and how do we run it, and what's really the most important thing. And when we do this, when we sit around and talk about it, sometimes over an adult beverage, we always come back to our customers. What is it that you need out of CRM? And it really starts with how you attract and close new customers, how you obtain repeat business, and how you keep your customers happy. Everything else is fluff, to be very honest with you. If you can do everything there in A, attract, close, repeat business, keeping your customers happy, then you are going to be a very successful company. CRM exists just to make it easier for you to accomplish those things, right? CRM is not something that you purchase a new car, you say you've got that, you're successful, you've got that Bentley, that Rolls Royce, maybe it's even a Corvette or a classic Mustang, something like that. You take that car out and you show everybody. You drive it, you polish it, you clean it, and it's a show thing. It's there for people to see and marvel at, and for you to just really feel an enormous sense of pride. CRM is not that car. CRM is not this Rolls Royce that you're parading around and showing everybody. CRM is the John Deere tractor that's 40 years old that sits there in your field and helps you do your work. It works every day. It's there. It always starts up. It's always there, and it's always a part of your business, and it helps drive that business. Now, not saying that CRM is 40 years old, but the key thing to take away from that is CRM is a tool. CRM is that piece of software and technology that you can leverage to make your business run more efficiently, make your users a little bit happier about how they're doing things, make them more efficient, and really gets you to the bottom line, which is back to attracting, closing new customers, obtaining your repeat business, and keeping your customers happy. CRM, when it's done right, is there to support every one of those pieces and parts. And using CRM, and using CRM as a development platform even allows you to do more. It allows you to really drive other business processes that may not be CRM. Customer relationship management is what CRM stands for, of course, but it may not be that customer piece. Maybe it's inventory. Maybe it's something that you're trying to drive you're trying to manage a piece of equipment and the relationship between, say, a service contract and a vendor and a location where that piece of equipment exists. Maybe it's around human resources. You're trying to manage a whole team of people and their certifications regarding certain things within your industry. When are those certifications active? When are those certifications going to need to be renewed? CRM is about being that underlying technology that you can leverage and making everything more efficient for you. And that's really what we're all about, is we're about trying to get you there, trying to keep you there, and making sure that everything works for you. All right, so we start out, and this is going to be relevant to our conversation here in just a second, so bear with me, but we help you select the destination that you're going to. And that can be a lot of different things. It could be around your goals and objectives, or it can be a specific suite or module, if you will, of CRM. Let's say that you're a business that you're just really trying to focus on sales management. Your goals for 2016 are improving sales management, whether that be managing your pipeline, whether that be managing your leads and the conversion of those leads, the metrics around and the data around all of those things. I mean, sales management by itself, at its very basic, should be easy, right? But for those of us who have lived and worked in that space for quite some time, it's not. It's about the people. It's about the goals. It's about the process and the data that you use to get everybody there, right? So maybe you select just the sales management piece. Well, that has to be driven, and you have to manage that, and you have to manage the tools and keep those tools sharp to allow you to get there. Maybe you want to work on customer service. Maybe the piece that you're going to push for this next year or the year out after that is improving customer service. Now, for a lot of businesses, that means different things. Maybe it's your call center. Maybe it's just folks that are calling up for more information. You want to be able to put some structure in it. Well, CRM can help you get there. And so we will help you devise those processes. We help you put all that stuff together, and this gets you live, right? Well, we're going to talk about what happens after you go live. Maybe it's marketing automation that you're looking for. Marketing automation can be tied into CRM for allowing you to achieve those goals and really manage the whole end-to-end piece of what it's going to take to manage your business and run your business effectively. Marketing within CRM is a module that is pretty robust. You've got campaigns, you've got the ability to plan different tasks, you've got the ability to create multiple marketing lists based on a whole host of different pieces of criteria, even stuff that you may not currently be using. You can go back and look at your system and completely reset your criteria to be able to. On top of that, we've got a couple of pieces and parts that we can bring in to allow you to use the automation portion of it. What I mean is really to try and drive your inbound marketing efforts. Some folks use something like Constant Contact or MailChimp or whatever to do your email blasts. Those are good, adequate tools. The challenge with that, however, is that you're now separating out your different silos of information. You've got your CRM system that's managing a lot of the interactions that are going on with your prospects and customers, but then you take that data and you have to move it out. You have to export it and then import it into another product to actually put a mail together. And then once you sent out that email blast, you've got all these metrics that are generated and they come back into whatever that application is. You want those metrics in CRM. That gives you the picture of who clicked on what, who opened it, how effective was this piece, and you're not doing it in two different applications. You should be doing it in one. And then finally, Microsoft has put together has purchased a new piece that allows you to bring in a new piece to the puzzle. Right? For many companies, this is not something that they use, but field service becomes an enormous beast for many, many companies that have trucks in the field that are out doing warranty work or installation work, or they're trying to manage the routing and the booking of these events and trying to get them out there. Microsoft has purchased the leading field service solution provider for Dynamics CRM, and they're now baking it into the product. So with the release of 2016, CRM 2016, we have the ability to bring that solution in, and Microsoft has made it a part of your license. So the great thing is your software that you would have paid $20, $30, $40,000 for previously is now being baked into your CRM. Now, the flip side of that is field service as it exists today is a big, hairy beast. There are a lot of moving parts, and that takes work. That takes discovery. That takes people that know what they're talking about to sit down with you and your team to build that model and to put in all the pieces and parts and fine-tune those moving parts to allow it to work effectively so that you get a call. You can book it right there. You can schedule it right there knowing that you've got these people that are going to be in the area on a certain day. So field services is a new piece in CRM 2016, and especially coming out here in Spring Wave. If you haven't heard about CRM 2016 Spring Wave, you'll be hearing more about that from us. It's not available as of yet. They're finishing the testing, and it should be available, begin to be released to CRM Online customers probably starting in the April, May, June timeframe is what we're thinking. Microsoft hasn't set the date there yet. So CRM implementation. You're selecting your destination. We're going to get you there, and we need to keep you there. And that's where we really start getting into what happens after you go live, right? So all of those pieces and parts, you've paid the money for your licenses. You've paid the money for an implementation. You've gotten to that finish line, quote unquote. That was air quotes. You can't see me. And you've gone live. So your people are using the system, and they're doing the things that they need to do, and all of the data and all of the processes are working the way they're supposed to. But you have to realize that's a point-in-time process. That's a point-in-time data set. It has to continue to grow. It has to continue to thrive to keep everything going, right? As soon as you go live, your data and processes start to decay. Now, this is something that we've seen throughout, and it doesn't matter who is doing the implementation. It doesn't matter even the platform that you're using, whether it's Dynamics CRM or some other lesser product because you've built to the go live. Everybody kind of drives to that go live date. And once you're live, everybody's happy, everybody's moving, everybody's kind of heading forward. But things start to decay because no one is really working on the freshness of your data, or at least they may be at first, but then they start dropping off. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in the next slide in terms of specific things about your data and things that you should be doing to keep that fresh and to keep that maintained. Processes, business processes that you've delivered the live. Those business processes are what you think, what everybody has put together that you think you need to move forward. Generally, they work great for however long it is that business process still makes sense for your business. But things change, right? Things change with your business, things change with your industry, things change with the product offerings that you may have. So those have to be refreshed on a fairly regular basis to keep you up to date, to keep your system working. So what happens is both of these issues, data and process, start to become outdated. Your users get frustrated. Users are great because they have to get the job done. Day in and day out, they've got a job to perform. CRM is a tool. If the tool isn't sharp and the tool isn't doing what it's supposed to be doing for your users, they adapt because they still have a job to do. They stop trusting the data. They get to a point where they're not so sure the data is right. I mean, in the past, how many times have you looked at a report with a user or looked at some data in a system and somebody has asked, well, is this accurate? Is this still relevant? Is this still the person we need to be talking to? Didn't they change industries? Didn't they, so all of these things change. Business change, life changes. They stop trusting the data and then they stop updating it, right? They begin to create workarounds for the process. Hey, this isn't working for me, so I'm going to take it to this point, and then I'm going to have to do this in Excel, and then I have to deliver this to my boss. So that workaround then starts impeding the successful conclusion of the process that's built out at CRM. And ultimately, they just stop using the system, right? Users have a job to do, and if the tool isn't working, they change tools, or they create a workaround for themselves, for your data, for your process. It's just a natural part of life. If users are expected to get the job done, the tool has to continually be available to them. So let's focus a little bit on the data side. You may have heard this, for those of you who have worked with us already, you probably have heard this analogy from either myself or one of the consultants. But think of your data as a three-legged stool, right? And we use this analogy for when customers are asking us to add a new data field or a new view of the data or whatever. You got to ask yourself these three questions and think of it that if you can't, the stool is going to fall over if you don't have one of these legs solid. First one, who's going to enter that data for you? Data has to get into the system some way. In some cases, it's an automation. In some cases, it's an integration, say with your ERP system or with a website or with a web form or something like that. But something or somebody has to enter the data. So we have to be able to answer that question. The second one is who updates the data. The data's in there, and that's great, but the data's in there and is relevant at the point at which it was put in. Data changes, situations change, people change. Things are going to change within the construct of what you're trying to do as a business. So who is updating and keeping that data fresh? And then the last piece is who consumes it. So this piece is oftentimes forgotten about because everybody's concerned about getting relevant data in, and then we're going to, hey, gosh, we have this person or this process that's going to keep this data fresh for us. That's great. But ultimately, who's consuming this data? I mean, you can spend an enormous amount of time and effort on the first two, but if the data is no longer being used as a metric for something or as a query or it's just no longer relevant, who's consuming it. If nobody's consuming it, then why are you spending all that time on the first two? Why are you trying to figure out how to keep refreshing a data point that nobody cares about anymore? So those things have to be thought out as you continually go through and manage your system. Each of those is important as the other. And if you are maintaining those and if you're actively managing the system live, you really have to be able to address those questions all the time. And the only way to really avoid the whole decay data problem is to be proactive about it. There's a lot of things you can do in CRM around deduplication jobs, how you handle the results of those deduplication jobs, using some proactive system jobs to help you manage that, having some user reports regarding the user system use. Are they in the system? How are they adapting it? Is one person, full bore, 100% involved in the system, and that one sales guy that you've got that never enters data, and that he either thinks that an opportunity is dead on arrival or a done deal, and he's got no middle ground. He may not be using the system. So you have to be able to understand who's doing that and who's not. And you really need at least quarterly reviews of your data set, of what's relevant and how you're reporting against it. But who has the time, right? That's a lot of work. That's a lot of administration. But to truly keep your system going, somebody has to. Well, let's talk real quickly about processes. So some of these same things that we talked about with data exist around your business process and your workflows in CRM. Those need to be maintained and managed. Your business always adjusts, right? You spend the time. Some businesses have quarterly business reviews and planning meetings. Are our goals on track? Are we moving forward? Some of them do it, half yearly. Some do it, annually. But I can't imagine that most successful businesses don't do it at least annually. I know us. We internally look at our stuff. We have a major planning session once a year, but then throughout the year we constantly revisit it. We adjust as needed, and we continue moving forward. You spend that time on your business, but you should also be doing the same thing, or somebody should, regarding the tools that you use and making sure that they're kept up, right? Dynamics CRM is there, as we talked about early in the process, is there to support your goals and objectives to acquire, retain, and keep customers happy. And it's the tool that gets you there, but that tool has to continually be sharpened. This takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. It's a schedule. It's something that you have to have somebody responsible for within your organization. Now, many of our customers have a designated person for being a CRM administrator, which is awesome. We love that. That person has got the tools and the ability to make decisions and kind of keep things moving forward. However, generally that person has another role within the organization. They're wearing multiple hats. So they really don't focus exclusively on CRM, whether it's running reports, looking at data, looking at processes. So those are the things that, when we look at, the post-go live decay and what causes it and what you need to do to truly fix it and to drive the change, it's really about time. Somebody being able to understand the system intimately, to know even what's coming down the pipe from Microsoft. What other functionalities are going to be coming in that we might be able to continually leverage, change some of our processes to be able to manage that moving forward. That person it's a full-time job, if not more than a full-time job. So we looked at this with all of our customers, and we created a program called CRM Admin Assist. And we look at this, and we truly believe it's a wellness plan for your CRM. All of the things that we just talked about around data, around your processes, and ultimately around user adoption really gets driven by this CRM Admin Assist program. We've set it up with a series of proactive steps to help stop the decay. It's not just a support program, right? A lot of vendors, you sign up for their support plan, and they are there waiting for you to contact them. They call us, send us, we'll help you, we'll fix this, and we'll answer that question. That's great, and CRM Admin Assist has that functionality as well. But for being able to sharpen the tool that you use to drive many of your critical business processes, we have CRM Admin Assist to help you do that. We set up the 12-month health plan. We set up a series of proactive data review tasks to go in and run data deduplication jobs. Look at who's using the system. We install a user adoption solution so that you've got a dashboard and you can see which of your users are driving certain pieces and parts of the system. Who's in there, who's doing what they're supposed to be doing. We have unlimited support and assistance for you. You get a new employee, or even that CRM admin that you've got that hasn't, say, built a dashboard in 6 to 9 months. He can't remember how to do it, right? It's just going to have to go revisit that process and try and figure out how you want to do that. So he calls us. Hey, I need to build a dashboard for so-and-so. Can you help me with it? Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look at what the metrics are you need, and let's help build this out. And we don't just do it for him, but we will help him understand how to do it himself for the next time, or he calls us for the next time, whatever it takes. Training, user adoption metrics, all of these pieces and parts that help you sharpen the tool, help you keep your data relevant, help you keep your processes relevant, are included with the CRM Admin Assist program. It is a 12-month program. We have predictable fixed monthly fee. So that's the kicker, right? You can hire another CRM admin. You can go to some recruiting company and pay their ridiculous fees to find you somebody to help manage your CRM system. But if you are thinking along those lines, I would encourage you to talk to us first. For a fixed monthly fee, we're going to be doing all of those things for you. We're actively managing your system. We're responding to your inquiries. We're helping do training. You have monthly training webinars that are open and available for you to attend. You've got all of the pieces and parts that you're going to need to keep that system sharp, to keep your users in the system, and to keep moving it forward. As an example, for a 20-user system, 20 users or less, the program starts at $995 a month. Simple, not complicated. Folks will ask us, where is the dividing line between what you cover and what you don't? Well, pretty much we cover most everything, but when you get to a point where maybe there's some programming involved, or you want to launch a brand new module that you had never had, for instance, you may be doing sales and marketing today, and you decide you want to launch field service because it makes sense for your company, that's great. Support of field service exists in CRM Admin Assist, but the actual implementation would not, because that's a pretty major project. So that would be a separate project on top of what we're doing with CRM Admin Assist. So that's just some general guidelines, but it really allows you to maximize the investment that you've put into CRM, that you've put into your users, and continually move that forward. Okay, so we can answer some questions about that at the end. Obviously, I think some of you who are on here have already heard us talk about this, and I believe we actually have some folks on the call that have been with the program already. So that's our CRM Admin Assist program. It's our big push this year, but more importantly, it's there to help you maximize your system and maximize the money and the time that you put into it. So just starting to wrap up a little bit here, our company is really moving towards being that complete one source for you. Now, Microsoft has made some changes around subscriptions and licensing, and many of you have paid for your Microsoft licenses on a monthly basis, and you pay Microsoft for those. Well, Microsoft doesn't necessarily want to be in the business of having to take care of all the billing for that. So they're starting to transition that to partners. which is fine. You don't have to do it that way, but partners can't take over the licensing. We spent a lot of time looking at this and really decided that it was a good move for us because we can help you by bundling in some of those other services, whether it's a monthly per user per month price for not just the license, but for our CRM Admin Assist, what we call CAA, and maybe even some other services that that you want to try and implement this year, but you don't want that big project spike for 2-3 months, to pay for it. You want to spread that out a little bit. So we bundle a lot of those things in for our customers now. Do we make money on taking over the licensing? Microsoft does kick us a couple of extra margin points, but honestly, licensing alone, it's not worth it. It's not about us getting, an extra couple of cents because we've taken over your license. It's about being able to bundle all of that together for you into one bill and put our services together for you as well and try and, since we're going to be billing it monthly anyway for the licenses, let's try and put this into one easy-to-manage monthly fee for all of those services that you might be looking for. And that makes it easy, too, for you to say, hey, we want to roll out Office 365. Well, okay, let's get that built into your price. Let's talk about what it's going to take to migrate. Let's talk about what it's going to take to manage that and support it moving forward. We can bundle all of that and put that into your monthly fee. So it's just another service. It's not required by any stretch. It's completely up to you. You may get some mailings from us on that. If that's an option that you're looking for, please contact us if it makes sense for you right away. Please contact us and we can start that process with you. Okay? All right. So that's CAA, that's CRM Admin Assist, but more importantly, those are the steps and the things that you really need to do to stop the decay of your data and your processes as soon as you go live. Those are critical pieces for user adoption. And if your users are not using the system, then you're starting to fail. And that's what's going to, put you in the same position 2 years down the road, 2 years after go live that you were in before, because your users aren't using the system or they're not putting in the data that they're supposed to because they've got workarounds around the system. Those are the key pieces and parts that are going to keep you successful. We are here to help you with that. We've kind of given you some of the key pieces that you need to do if you choose to do it yourself. If you've got the people that have the time and the ability to do it, that's great. We still don't go away. We're still here for you. It's not about just selling you a system and then, getting you to go live and, shaking your hand and getting on the boat and taking off. There's a lot around keeping your system fresh moving forward, and that's what we're here for. Okay. Thank you. If we have any questions, we'll kind of go through those. Let's see what the questions look like right now.
Hey, Ken.
Hey, Mark.
We have some
Everybody, this is Mark Davis.
Hi, everybody. We do have some questions from the attendees. I'm just going to read down the list here. Any suggestions on how to encourage staff to keep entering data the right way?
Thanks. That's kind of the $64 question, isn't it? What you have spent all this time and money for is to get your system up and running, to get to that go live, and to try and put processes in that kind of guide them to putting in the data correctly. So one of the things that we always recommend is that you look at what that data is that you need, and if it's required data, you don't necessarily make it required on the form, because that can be very problematic, just saying, hey, this is now a required field, because you may not know that information until later on in the process. But what's important is restructuring the process that guides them through that. So at the proper time, they're prompted for that data in whatever whether it's a sales process workflow that says, now I'm in stage 3, and that means I need a little bit more information around here. And there's ways to drive that behavior. And then there's also ways to look at exception reports, right? So we say we can run a report that says, give me a list of all opportunities in stage 3 that are missing these data points. And then you can follow up with that. So it's a matter of configuring the process to guide the behavior you're looking for, and then using exception reports to try and manage that and get back with your users. So thank you, whoever had that. Great question.
Another one for you, Ken. Can you elaborate on the CRM roadmap referred to in the slides?
Yes, thank you. One of our responsibilities as a partner is understanding where Microsoft is going with the product. And most of you, I think, that have the product do know that Microsoft is on a twice yearly release cadence, which means that twice a year they've got a new series of either enhancements or added functionality that they're bringing into the system. Having that sprung on you at the last minute oftentimes forces you or encourages you to then just say, hey, let me try this and let me move it forward. Well, that all needs to be done very systematically. Field service is a perfect example. Field service is now available in a certain way with the solution that you can upload, and now it's going to be fully baked into the product with the spring wave that's coming out. But you need to understand the moving parts there before you really should jump in full bore. So what we do as a partner, especially our CAA customers, is we help them map that roadmap out so that we can include that functionality at a later time. So knowing that 6 months, 12 months, 18 months down the road, this is what we see from Microsoft. This is what Microsoft is telling us is coming out. Now, we can never guarantee what Microsoft's going to do, but we can help you understand what possibly is coming up. So, for instance, we had a customer recently that wanted to try and have us build some field service related functions, and we were able to tell them, let's go back to the roadmap because CRM or because Microsoft is now going to be bringing this out. Let's make sure that we understand exactly what it's going to deliver for you. Is it going to fit your functionality, and then move it forward. So we were able to, in effect, save them some money instead of building it for them and then having it come out later. They were able to put a hold on that, look at the functionality when it comes out, which we're now in the process of reviewing that with them, so that they can roll out the various pieces and parts that make sense with them. So the roadmap is a critical part of the CAA program, where we've got that mapped out for you 12 months. It may just be around, you guys have data issues, so we're going to be working on those over the next couple of months, and here's how we're going to do that. And then we're going to perhaps, look at some additional dashboards and metrics and, analytics. So not remaining static in your system is crucial to be able to keep that tool sharpened.
Another question here, it says, if we sign up for CRM Admin Assist, is the help outsourced to a third party or provided by you guys?
Thank you. That's a great question. See, the help that you get, our help desk, is completely managed by us, by our consultants. So I don't believe in hiring junior people and sticking them on a help desk that, these people don't know your system, they don't know your business, they don't know what it is that you're trying to accomplish, and then they answer the phone and it's like, they're trying to walk you through a script. We've all kind of been there, I think, with especially offshore help desks. When you contact us for assistance through CAA or even just through normal support channels, you're going to get one of our consultants. We have a rotating schedule every day of the week. One of our consultants is responsible for beginning the support process, and it may be a consultant that you haven't worked with yet, but they may look at it and say, hey, you need to be talking with Erin because she's the one who did this for you, but let me get her on this problem for you, and we'll move it forward. So you're dealing with our consultants, our U.S.-based consultants, and you're dealing with people who know your system.
Those are all the questions we have today.
Excellent. Well, thank you, everybody. I appreciate your time. As I mentioned, we'll have this recording, if everything goes well with GoToMeeting recording. We'll have this up and posted for you later on. I really appreciate the time. If you've got any additional questions, I've got Mark's contact information up there. Mine is basically the same. My email is ken@xrmcubed, so please feel free to contact one of us with any questions you may have. We really appreciate your time today, and if there's anything that we can help you with in terms of keeping your systems moving forward, please let us know. Thanks, and have a great day, everybody.